Okay, so have you been scrolling through your phone lately and gotten this, I don't know, this weird sense of digital deja vu? Like you've somehow stumbled into a time warp? Well, you're definitely not alone. We're going to break down exactly why the internet has decided it's 2016 all over again.
So what is actually going on here? I'm talking about the sudden comeback of flower crowns, those classic Snapchat filters making a return. It seems like everywhere you look, people are acting like it's 2016. And it's not just a handful of posts either. This is a full-blown cultural moment happening right now.
And if you want to understand just how big this is, just look at the numbers. The hashtag 2016 has over 1.7 million posts on TikTok alone. So yeah, this is not some small niche thing happening in a quiet corner of the internet. We're talking about a mainstream wave of nostalgia that's completely taken over our feeds.
And it's not just regular folks like us. Nope. A-list celebrities, huge influencers, they are all jumping on this throwback train. We're seeing people like Hailey Bieber, Charlie Puth, and Eli Rollo dropping content that just perfectly nails that unique 2016 vibe. When they get involved, you know it's gone from a small trend to a major cultural event.
Okay, so to really get why we're all so obsessed with this year, we have to rewind the clock a bit. Let's take a look back what actually made 2016 such an iconic and, let's be honest, kind of chaotic year.
I mean, just look at how jam-packed this year was. You had Beyoncé dropping Lemonade, which was a total cultural reset. Millions of us were literally wandering around the streets hunting for virtual creatures with Pokémon Go. And of course, Musical.ly, the app that would become TikTok, was king. It was just the perfect storm of viral energy.
Oh, and you absolutely cannot talk about 2016 without talking about the music. Designer's Panda was, well, it was everywhere. You couldn't escape it. Black Beatles by Ray Sremmurd basically became the official theme song for the Mannequin Challenge. These weren't just hit songs. They were the literal inescapable soundtrack for that entire year.
But, and this is really important to remember, it wasn't all just fun and games. 2016 was also an incredibly heavy year. Alongside all the viral challenges and iconic music, we had these huge political shifts with Brexit and the US election. And, man, we lost a staggering number of legends. Prince, David Bowie, Muhammad Ali. It's this wild mix of high and low that makes the nostalgia for it so interesting.
So all of that brings us to the big question, right? Why are we all collectively romanticizing a year that also had so much turmoil? Well, the answer seems to lie deep in the psychology of nostalgia.
So psychologically, a decade is kind of the sweet spot. It's been long enough for those sharper, negative memories of the year to kind of fade away, but it's recent enough that all the good stuff, the music, the memes, that whole feeling still feels really familiar and easy to access. We're right in that perfect 10-year window.
And just look at the difference in social media, because this right here gets to the absolute heart of why people are so nostalgic. Back in 2016, the main goal online was just to have fun, right? You could post a blurry photo with a dog filter and not think twice. But today, everything feels so hyper-curated, so driven by the algorithm. People are really longing for that earlier, more authentic online culture. So if you want to jump in and join the revival, there's a pretty simple playbook that everyone's following. It really just starts with busting out those old filters, the ones, digging up some throwback photos of you in your skinny jeans, and of course, setting the whole thing to the perfect 2016 soundtrack.
But really, this whole trend is about so much more than just bringing back an old aesthetic or a forgotten filter. There's something much deeper going on here.
At its very core, this nostalgia is a direct reaction to our current world. I mean, think about it. We're living in a time filled with climate anxiety, political chaos, and this constant pressure to perform online. So 2016 starts to represent this kind of perceived innocence, a time that, looking back, just felt simpler.
Ultimately, the point isn't to literally go back in time. We can't do that. It's really more about honoring that period. It's about celebrating the moments, the music, and the memes that shaped a generation and honestly, just made us laugh.
So this isn't really about escaping the present. It's more about channeling some of that carefree, fun energy from 2016 to help us deal with the complexities of today. It's like using a look back to help us move forward.
And that kind of leaves us with a final question for you. As we all take this trip down memory lane, what piece of that 2016 energy, that fun, that authenticity, is actually worth bringing with you into today?